That's that about that. Okay, cool. We'll keep it moving, guys. The next result is obviously I saw Cape Town City and Orlando Pirates playing out to a 1-all draw. One of those typical game of two halves, where Pirates really did have the first half, and then Cape Town City, depending on what the coach told them at the halftime break and the adjustments they made, because I think they were both tactically kind of having to adapt on the day, and in the end, it's a 1-all result. But I think for me, it's also one of those where it just shows me that there's a level that the likes of Cape Town City and Pirates and the rest are playing at amongst themselves, whilst Sundowns carries on and does what big teams do, and that's find results in big games. And that's something Pirates, they kind of just become a mediocre. Maybe we'll beat a side, maybe, you know what I mean? It's like they don't perform at the same level, or expectation doesn't seem to be the same. I mean, Dinya, as a former buck yourself, I mean, have you made peace?
The man is on black and white, so it's Pirate through and through.
That we're playing for positions 2 to 7 or 2 to 8. Because the lack of these big results would make one think that, okay, you know what, maybe some teams have convinced themselves, and maybe the people at the clubs, that, hey guys, there's only one team that's going to win this league thing, and I'm playing with
I'm actually disappointed with the Pirates. I mean, if you look at first half, the way that they played first half, I mean, they looked like that Pirates that really wanted to win the game.
Right.
But then when they came back second half, it was a totally different Orlando Pirates.
Right.
And now we should now allow these players to take responsibility, because you cannot blame the coaches for that. What are you doing on the field?
Right.
So you need you leading 1-0, and then you come back, and then you change. It's like they switched off. It's like they were not even there.
Yeah.
It's like you're watching Pirates under 15s playing.
Right.
And so by doing that, then they allowed Cape Town City to come back.
Was it Cape Town City good enough? Too good for Pirates, or you're watching under 15?
Second half,
Yeah.
it changed. The complexion of the game changed.
Yeah.
I think
Cape Town, and then
what made a difference was the setting up of Eric Tinkler. I think the formation made it difficult for Pirates.
Yeah.
As you can see, he overloaded the middle. He played with Mokeke, Masheho, and Nodada. So there was no way they were going to break through that middle. And trying to hide Pule and Zukamanja. You have Felix that is strong on his 1v1, very good on the air. And you have Mubara, who also can play, who can attack, good pass off the ball, reads the game well. So the reason why he set up with 3 was he knew the one-on-one they can take a risk, because they have still Mukeke, who will filter in and be the one who's going to play next to Fasika. So if he plays together like that, they will always minus Mabaso, because Mabaso is one player that likes to sit on the box. So in that sense, it made it easy for Tami to always go up and Dansani to have those spaces behind Shandu, because Shandu, if you watch most of his game, he's good on the ball, but I think as a defender, he's not offering much to Orlando Pirates in terms of the defensive duties. Going forward, starting play on the build-up attack is good. Same with Marco. They are good going up, but when it comes to defense, this is where Tami, who's more experienced, who understands the spacing and when to cross and when not to run with the ball, and how they can compress Orlando Pirates. But I think what they made it difficult for Orlando Pirates was they narrowed the spaces and the gaps. As Eric Sinclair has said, that the only thing that Pirates did well was when they switched their system, it became difficult for them. They started matching, because on personality level, they couldn't match Orlando Pirates. So I think Pirates, they are left to blame themselves on this game, because they could have won it.
That's why I'm saying that they should take responsibility for that, because now you saw that Cape Town City, they were coming at them. What do? Listen, park the bus if you can. It's 1-0. The game can finish 1-0.
Yeah.
Because if you now have the 2 fullbacks still wants to go up, when you know that you are under a lot of pressure, then.
But I think automatically it will always get the fullbacks to go up because they are not naturally right back and left back.
But
So chances are for them to have the overload on the middle. Yes, it's good. They have numbers, but how are they using it with Jele and Dai, right? How are they using it in terms of if they can't go forward? Can they play a negative transition? Meaning, let's try and keep the ball and try and break this block. Because on the middle, where you have the Mabaso who was sitting deep, who was playing as a single in the middle. Right, now it's difficult when you're playing with three. So meaning that they can always bypass. That's why you saw Nodada was always having those spaces in between, trying to run in between, and Dansane always moving on the side. So they were always switched. So for Pirates, if they would have reinforced properly on this one, flip the system around, don't play a 4-3-3, at least maybe try and apply a 4-4-2, try to compact the middle play. Because if you're having those lines being broken, it was easy for City to find those spaces, the Relanis, to get into the box.
Okay.
But if you minimize the lines,
Yeah.
it's better for them to play that negative transition and play on their own half.
you see, the difference was, the likes of Modada, and they were willing. They could sit back and make it very difficult for Pirates to penetrate them. But they were willing, once they win the ball, they were willing to get on their bikes and get into those channels
Yes.
to attack Pirates.
Yeah.
And that was what was lacking with Pirates. But also it comes to player intelligence, the seniority and the maturity of the game. Because you are leading 1-0.
Yeah.
They are attacking you. What do? Get the ball in the channels, hold it there, try to play it frustrated, because they're going to need a lot of energy to come back to defend and try to win the ball and then attack you. So you don't again park the bus and sit back and wait them to
Play on an offensive level. Yeah.
There's this thing I'm seeing in most teams in the PSL, whereby they win the ball when they are trying to attack and immediately they drop off. You understand? Now, why do you drop off immediately?
Exactly. You are there.
Because you are nearer the ball,
Yeah.
press it there. If you win it, you are closer to the goal to punish the opponent.
And then-
but then you are turning your back and running back. And I'm like, Jesus me, what's going on? You
Isn't
can't
that
do
negative
that.
transition?
No,
Yeah.
no,
Very.
no,
It is.
no.
I think it is. I think it is
So when
in
do
a
you
way.
use it, when don't you?
Okay, you use it into you use it so that it could work for you. When you play the negative transition, it will mean when you have position and you see the team is sitting at the back, you try and recycle the ball to draw them out.
Right.
If they still sit, you still maintain position. Those that will chase up front, they will chase, but they will be outnumbered. So now when you do that, you're opening up other spaces to play up until the whole line will step up. If they don't step up, we are going to find solution. It's either on the side or we get our 9 to drop to
Right.
come and receive the ball. So now in the case where team is saying teams are dropping, it's working against many teams. Why? Because if they can counter press right there, chances are if you make me uncomfortable with the ball, as defender I will try and play safety first. But if you are allowing me or giving me the luxury to play, I'll be like, you're dropping back, let me recycle, I can carry. Now, as you drop back, I'm stealing the yards to come to you. So as I steal the yards to come to you, now you have to organize your defense. And remember, we just attacked. That means you are disjointed at that time.
If you look at Sundowns doing it well,
But but on Pirates game, if they had to gain possession in the final third,
Yeah.
why do we have to push? Let's move slowly, so that when they want to come and then we are still in blocks. That's all that they wanted to do.
I think-
but they wanted to attack. now you can see that you are under pressure, but you think still wants to go.
Yeah.
Where?
Eddie,
You know-
I'm sorry, I'm gonna I want you to grab this guy, and I want him to.
Sorry,
put
sorry,
him in the
sorry.
line of sight.
Yes.
Because you're speaking to us, and the mic is over there. So I think
I'm very angry.
I can tell.
What's this one gonna do?
So mad that all mic technique goes out the window.
Yeah.
I feel for you.
Yeah.
But then all of this considered, then who is this a bad result for? Because it seems like on either side, one of these coaches, maybe both, would have gone back and thought, yes, I should have won that.
That was an easy game
That's
for
Pirates.
Pirates.
Yeah.
That's easy
Pirates should have
Pirates.
collected maximum points.
So Cape Town City didn't do enough in the second half to think.
Pirates came in with a setup that they don't want to be scored. and Pirates surprised them, they scored. But now Pirates could not protect their lead. And now again, them dropping back, just to answer on that one, Eddie. I think they were still skeptic on the centre back that they just introduced, trying to play a high line. I saw he's not the quickest, but in terms of aerial presence, he's good. Also playing from the ground, not that convincingly. But I think with Jele being around him, it made it a little bit comfortable. So I think that Jele would have given a command to at least let's balance him out instead of exposing him, because he's still getting used to South African football. So now if you push too high with the speed that City has, no, that was going to be suicide.
Not too high. You know, at least you leave a very good distance between yourself, the last line, and the goalkeeper.
But you see, there's this theory that you know, the defenders are not fast and everything like that. For me, it's all about the intelligence, because if you know that you are a bit slow, then don't get into the center line. Stay on the D. Do your position early. Get in those positions, and they know that. That's not a weakness. Just get the intelligence to get into those angles. Stop the play. For example, what was killing Pirates was simple. You know, when they drop back, the person releasing the likes of Don and the like was having the freedom to choose whether I can play a through ball, a long ball. Cut that out. Once you cut that out, the danger is done at the back. There was no exposure at the back. So it is some best things that even players themselves can identify during the course of the game, even without the coaches telling them to do. Identify, you know, this gentleman is very fast. Now, he's not a bullet. Block that space as a defender. Block that space in advance. By the time he wants to get in there, he finds you there. He can't go through you. He has to find other means. So, convert your slowness into intelligence. Just use your body. Stand in that space because looking for that space. You won't go through it.
Hence I said that I will blame the player.
I'll
blame the player. 100%.
The player intelligence on the field of play is very important. But also,
I think also the command team coming from Happy Jele, as much as they were not having a good run and they were trying not to concede. Yes, maybe one goal that they've conceded, maybe they will take that as a new pairing. We also need to be considerate of that. Also, maybe the coach trying to find a solution around Happy Jele and Tyson, that's why they brought in a player on that position. So for me, I also feel that the new player was just trying to take instructions from Happy. It's not that he's the least intelligent player. They signed him for a reason, and I think he's good enough to fit for Orlando Pirates. It's just a matter of time. He gets confidence, and then he starts showing us his true colors. Yes, we saw the glimpse of it. Good. He's going to help Pirates a lot.
Yeah, and he didn't look like a liability. I mean, the handball was unfortunate.
For me, what is important, what I'm looking for, you know, is that relationship between the players and the coach. For example, if Happy Jerry is seen to be communicating, you know, trying to say, listen, this guy is taking us in the channels, making us run, getting out of position. If the coaches agree with him, and then they try to encourage other players to listen, and they can share that information before they can communicate with the coach, I think once you have that relationship, then that's very good. Because some coaches will think that this player is thinking that he's a coach. And then they will misunderstand that communication that is being. Because as a defender, you are seeing the whole, you know, you have got a bad view of the whole field of play. You can know even before the pass is played that that's going to be dangerous. But how do you get that to understand? Get the likes of pulling. You know, when you are recovering, recover and rest on the center line. Don't drop your legs and stay wide up. Rest in the right position, so that when we have got possession, we can start with you to initiate those attacks. Those are, you know, better practices that you have to build within yourself to try and get the team play.
Everyone behind the football. Simple as that.
How do you fix that in the next coming weeks? You know, obviously, you know, there's the international break. You know, you guys have been in these real-time training situations. How do you address that? How do you address one strong 45 and not a strong second 45? All these things, which seem to me, like you guys are alluding to, is player intelligence, and it's not really things that can be taught. It's things that, with your experience, with the level, what club you play for, how much we're paying you, you need to know these things.
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Like, surely
They-
something must come standard for what I'm paying
First and
for.
foremost, in this FIFA break, they should listen to front runner. They will pick some of these points from this one.
Yeah.
And then they can incorporate in their training sessions.
I don't know. I can see Coach Kelvin there thinking, anyone looking to sign him, he gets paid in Bitcoin.
It's very important because
Right.
this is why I always say a junior player should come through the process to dislodge a senior player, as opposed to pushing out the senior player because they are choosing him of being old.
Mm.
In that, the junior player will understand that Vuyomele is still playing, not because he's young, it's because he's getting positioning himself right.
Mhm.
He doesn't have the legs,
Mhm.
but he knows when to attack, when
When
to
not.
rest,
For
when
sure.
the legs are.
For sure.
you
The
know,
older you get as a
they're-
player, the more you play
So
with the
sure,
edge.
there are
yes.
things you learn when you play with senior players, not when you're playing with junior players. Now, when I look at this Orlando Pirates team, the age bracket of most of these players are almost the same.
Mm.
They will hardly listen and
To one
respect
another.
one another.
Mm.
That leadership is lacking. Compare this Orlando Pirates team with Sundowns. Almost all players on the Sundowns team, if they speak to a junior player, he will chase like a mad dog
Mm.
to win that ball.
Mm.
There is that respect because they have seen the senior players win all the trophies.
Right.
So once you get that right, it becomes easy on the field of play.
Right.
As a central defender, you are able to command your central midfield, your right backs, to get into those positions so that you do the simple things. If Happy Jiri and these central defenders are commanding well, they will not be tired for the whole 90 minutes because the job will be half done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Coach?
Just few points that I've just noted down. Few points that I've just noted down. I think with
Uh-huh.
Orlando Pirates, they need a high level of communication, starting from the back, midfield to strikers. I think if that is dealt with in this FIFA break, it's going to benefit them a lot. And also trying to keep the chains intact, meaning from defense, let's let them try and give their utmost best in terms of protecting the goalkeeper, and the midfielders trying to protect the defense, and the strikers trying to help also in defense to have more numbers. So you call those ones blockchain. So when you have that blockchain, if you know your strikers are doing their job in terms of helping us defensively and midfielders, that's when you're not going to have gaps in between them, and also motivate each other. It's very important for players to make sure that even if I know Eddie is not having a good day, but it's my responsibility to pick him up and make sure that he's in line as in sync with the
Yeah.
project. No, don't let us see that Eddie is going through a crisis somewhere else while he's on the field.
Right.
I think those are some of the
You know,
I just heard blockchain.
or if they don't understand the blockchain, then as I said, they must just fall back.
Fall back.
Yeah.
Get behind the ball.
It's as simple as
It's
that.
simple as that. If you don't understand blockchain, it's get behind the ball.
it's simple, but you know what? You know what's confusing? You know, you have got so many who will say, get back behind the ball.
Mm.
They get back behind the ball, they have the numbers,
And
but
then what?
none is marking. They're still conceding goals.
Right.
Exactly.
Then that's the problem. So that's why we need the players to tell
so
you.
you know, that's why, as a defender, you have to play almost 4 positions. That's a must.
Yeah.
You know that because you're gonna cover the right back, you're gonna cover the central midfield, you're gonna add numbers.
Yes.
So you're gonna play more than that position. That's why during training, it's very important to watch whatever each player is doing, which drill the coach is saying the striker is doing. Because when you go upfield, you're no longer a defender. You have now become a striker. Or you have become a midfielder. So you should do as a midfielder does on the field of play. So that sync is very important. So, and that harmony, you know, players like Pirates, they have to create that harmony to love each other, have those jokes. Once you have that, it
Yeah.
comes into the game as a team and you win games.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there we go. I'm sure Gunnar Marcelo, wherever he absconded to, is watching this. And just get the message back to your teammates, mate. We know you took some QT, some quality time to relax and not play Bafana. Quick results. Baroka Stellies played out a 1-1 draw, Chipa and Supersport 0-0. Skukune, heaping more pressure on TS Galaxy. I wonder though, if you're Sean Bartlett, you go into that game, you're like, well, you've replaced me already, so I don't really care what happens here today, guys. Enjoy yourselves. I mean, as a coach, you know what I mean? Like, because I would have thought that as someone who's done what he's done at Golden Arrows and has been able to take charge of a, he'd get a chance. I mean, heck, Simo Jala's getting the chance. So I'm sure if you're Sean Butler, you're wondering, why didn't I get an opportunity? Next thing, the owner of your club is mates with some player that he knew back then, who's now happened to go get his coaching badges. And now we've got a whole new experiment on our hands, gents. You're at the bottom of the table, and you're going to play football manager and bring in a German coach, who we all know Germans are tactically adept and whatnot. But honestly, as his first assignment, what do you guys anticipate? The cool kids say it'll end in tears. I don't want to say that, but I think it might.
Yeah.
Do you disagree or agree with me? I mean, the new manager bounce can only get you so far, right? And then you come in from Europe, you've got these ideas of the player intelligence that you expect the players to be at. I don't know, I feel they might come here and be a little frustrated. Obviously, Sean is the buffer. He's supposed to help translate and break things down and make them more palatable for the players, but it just seems like a strange gamble. Bottom of the table. Maybe before the season, maybe, like Barumo Gallants have done, you take a punt because you give him a preseason and whatnot. But is that what this international break is going to be? Is that what?
I think that, listen, I mean, if it was me, the German coach, I would have just, allow Sean Bartlett to,
continue
this, and then in the meantime, I'll be studying and getting to know the system, the culture, the players, things like that, even from Sean Bartlett, himself.
Right.
Gradually.
Where has that happened, Eddie?
It has happened.
You're speaking. It sounds like I've never known of coaches who arrive to kind of give themselves time. Usually they jump into the hot seat and they go.
And then you get beaten.
Yeah. Of course, but I mean that's what I'm saying. Like you have a new way of thinking about it. I just don't know if it's ever been done like that.
It is simple. What is transpiring here is mistrust.
Mistrust.
Yes, because now, if you are appointed just a few days to the game, and you are really accepted that Sean is going to be your assistant, I think it's of courtesy to let him be in charge of that game, because you have got the advantage of the international break,
right.
to try and acclimatize, get to know the players, and try to start instilling, what you want into these players. Sean has been with the team. He knows what they did during the off season, the preseason. He knows how that periodization of the players.
Right.
So if you are in good communication at that particular moment in time, you let him be in charge of that game, and then after you share the notes, try to win the confidence of each other. Try to grow that trust, because trust is grown over time. So at the moment you come and you discard Sean. From where I'm sitting, this German coach is saying, okay, you are the assistant from the one who has been sacked. How much can I trust you, with the team? Let me be in charge immediately. So,
but I mean, is it not what we're waiting to see, Tim, is the measure of this coach is in how much or how little he changes? Is that maybe going to be how you see whether this guy's come in a la Simo Jala and, destroyed and changed everything? Or will the hallmark of him kind of just being a little bit smart about his position come in and not try to change too much?
Yeah.
Look, if you look at this TS Galaxy team, they are physically well drilled. That's no doubt about it.
Right.
So it's gonna more about the technical discipline on the field of play and when to exploit their chances.
Right.
So physically, I think they are top notch. So he has got the advantage of the international break, that he can try to mold the system that's going to be played, because they've been playing 1-against-1, 1v1, man marking and everything like that. They were using more energy to try and utilize the opponent. That's why always they are conceding towards the end, in the second half and everything like that, because they're using more energy to try and utilize the opponent, as opposed to them using their advantage to punish the opponent.
So whilst
so
that
if they
wasn't
can
good,
get that,
Owen has given them a good start, as a good basis.
The foundation is there.
Yeah.
On physical,
Physically,
yes.
not
Technically,
playing
not
wise.
technically.
No. But you see,
No.
when
Because the results are telling.
Yeah.
The results are telling.
That's-
I think, sorry, Tim. I think on that one,
yeah,
the incoming coach, in terms of fitness, he doesn't need to worry about that.
Right.
He has to work in terms of tactics. So him positioning himself as a coach as you come in and this international breaks, it gives you time to know which player has to play in what position according to their fitness. Because with players playing at a high level, you can easily coach them the basics of knowing what to do because the ability is there.
Right.
So for the coach that is coming, he just has to sprinkle in a little bit of the European side in terms of the tactical work and playing as a unit and trying to have create more scoring opportunities and also defend well as a team because that has been the Achilles heel for them. They're trying to play at the back, but you can't play at the back and you're always reactional. Because every time when TX Galaxy try to play from the back, they lose the ball and they always find one thing, and that's why there's always gaps and they concede goals. So a coach that will come, surely he will change the system. Maybe we'll see a more TX Galaxy that is going to be on the front foot trying to attack. But at this point, they need to start at the base and try to play consecutively, trying to minimize them being scored more goals and also try and create at this particular moment because you can't go full throttle wanting to win because you're exposing yourself. Firstly, you need to pick your confidence, and I think at this time as a coach, the incoming coach, you'll have to work on the confidence of the players, trying to get the team harmony, the team spirit, and make sure again that he pairs players according to their abilities and strength because fitness, we cannot question that.
Okay, well, let's see. It'll be interesting to see what kind of ideas he does implement in this break. But of course, one of the things that's being bandied about, and obviously the league chairman also came out, Dr. Ivan Kola, saying that, they're looking maybe to incentivize fans to go back to the stadiums by saying that you can if you're fully vaccinated. Is everyone here fully vaccinated?
Yeah.
Maybe we have an anti-vaxxer amongst us.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're good.
everyone's-
We're by the stadium.
Okay, so we're all back at the stadiums, but it sounds like a good idea, though. To get people back supporting the teams. What does that mean? The returning crowds, and for who? Because I think it's kind of worked out for the smaller guys, in inverted commas, because some of the big teams don't have the support, don't have that 12th man and whatnot, and it's kind of also at times exposed some teams that actually, without the hype and the noise, you don't have what it takes to win a football match. So,
this COVID is very disastrous. It has shown that some players play according to the fans, as opposed to playing football.
Yeah.
And many teams have suffered.
yeah.
So
Do you think there's teams that would have been doing better in crowd situations than they are right now?
Oh yes. Kaizer Chiefs would be one of them.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
There's more pressure for
There's
Chiefs.
Pirates.
And Pirates,
because
Sundowns.
the fans demand results. If you're playing for the likes of Chiefs, Pirates, you can't lose a game and walk the streets. So you'll make sure that you win the game.
Yeah.
You are answerable to the fans, and it comes through. So with COVID, they have not. Some players have not felt the need, of that 20 rand, the 40 rand that the fans pay, because they demand by telling you, hey, winner, you're playing, what you're playing, you don't understand it. So I think it's a welcome decision, at least at this moment in time. At least it's augurs well for the PSL that at least they are moving into that direction to try and get the fans back into the stadiums, and it's good for the brand of football in South Africa.
And I guess I'm bummed out about us not getting the Club World Cup. That one was disappointing.
Yeah.
That one we couldn't get
Because
because
we're in the red zone.
and also a certain amount of the population has to be vaccinated already, but we're not there yet.
Just on that, Kamza, on the fans coming to the stadium, I think it's a win and loss for both teams in terms of revenue. The big teams have lost a lot in revenue onto their fans. Also, the smaller teams, the little that they were making also is affecting them. I think on real time, still fans will still come at you when you are losing. It's just that now when you're at the stadium, you feel that pressure. there's still pressure when they're watching you from TV because they come across at you in the malls, streets.
Where do you guys see all these soccer players, bro?
They're around.
I don't.
They're actually in the sport where they are not supposed to be.
That's where I'm not.
You see?
Okay, there we go.
Maybe
balance it out.
It's difficult to identify them because of the new norm.
Oh
the mask.
yes.
The mask.
Sometimes they go past you because of the mask and the hoodie.
And the hoodies,
Yeah.
can't see them.
Yeah.
Probably at Conca buying those 12 bottles of Ace of Spades.
So for real, I think on this point, yes, big teams and small teams are being affected a lot in terms of the big teams' revenue side. Their fans also having their 12 men, even though these three teams take the bulk of the support. That's why I'm mentioning the revenue side. The smaller teams, yes, it's a win for them because they are less under pressure to play Chiefs with a full capacity.
Okay, so we'll see how that one pans out, but exciting times at least with the notion that maybe we might just get some football for the fans anyway in a live situation. And then as far as going into this international break, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of international breaks. I don't really care about the football until the showpiece event, right? So everyone's like busy qualifying and doing all the stuff. I only like when it comes to the actual
the real stuff.
real stuff. Then I pay attention. But you know, as someone like myself, the stop-start nature of all these games in the league season as well. You know, some teams